Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Kellen from Killing for Company, and today we're going to be talking about the second full length from Stygian Crown entitled Funeral for a King. So Stygian Crown is an epic doom band from Los Angeles, California, and Funeral for a King marks their second full length. Their debut, self-titled, came out in 2020 on Cruz del Sur Records, and in 2018 had a demo that preceded it. The formula for this band is an interesting sort of combination. They take a Tales of Creation, Ancient Dreams era Candlemass, and everything that at times was almost mid-paced about their sound, part of epic doom that had a little bit more momentum and intensity to it. They take that and sort of a melodic maturation that mid-era Ball Thrower had, and they sort of bridge the gap between the two of them. So when epic doom at times ventured into something that was a bit more mid-paced out of your traditional sort of slower doom aspects, and part of a death metal sound that had a little bit more muscle, but also a greater kind of sophistication when it came to melodic personality, Stygian Crown sort of finds that sort of connective tissue and bridges them in a way that is unique and a little bit intriguing. At least that was the promise for an epic doom band here in the 21st century that wasn't just doing Candlemass, Solitude Aeternus sort of replication in sound. So initially that was like the major draw for most people, is they had a different approach to an epic doom band, and that was always sort of the intrigue when you were first getting to know what Stygian Crown was all about. So it's been 4 years since the debut full length, and you may be wondering what has remained the same, what has changed in those 4 years. Well, the key elements are still intact for this band. It's still Melissa Pinion doing a more traditional epic doom vocal style, housed inside of this sort of war machine, death metal, dirt churning behemoth. So really interesting contrast in style, and probably a welcome addition to an epic doom sound that is rarely known for its diverse approach in terms of songwriting. The album artwork, I want to point out, also by Chris Fairworm, perfectly illustrates sort of the things to come. It has all these sort of classical trappings. It looks like it's pulled out of ancient Greece or some part of ancient history, which works well for an epic doom sort of theme, and matches the instrumental intro that begins this record. It's grand, majestic, and sets the stage for the battle to come. The second track, Bushido, leans a little bit more towards the death metal side of things. It's a little bit more mid-paced, things get rolling, double bass, thick sort of bass guitar pushing things along, and the rest of the rhythm section just unfolds on top. For people who were curious about what an epic doom band would sound like with a little bit more of a death metal influx with the songwriting and production style, Bushido is a great glimpse about what that may entail, what a band implementing these sort of this kind of approach would sound like, and is a great sort of introduction to what Stygian Crown are all about for those who are unfamiliar. This leads into sort of the mid part of the record, and really the back half is when things get really interesting and show how Stygian Crown has evolved over the course of 4 years. While the debut full length was a success in terms of displaying a style and a concept of band's identity, it proved a success, but I think what left a lot of epic doom fans wanting more was a greater sort of diverse set of songwriting beyond established sort of death metal, epic doom sort of normative practice, right? So we move into the fourth track here, which is really an instrumental, and it's full of sort of string arrangements and choral arrangements, and is a great sort of pause for anyone who went into Funeral for a King thinking it was going to be just more sort of rehashed old material or slight variations on what had previously been established on the debut full length. The fourth track, an instrumental one entitled Let Thy Snares Be Planted, is a totally unique turn, and it kind of comes along unexpectedly. One of the, more than one, I would say, there are going to be a few moments on this record towards the back end or the latter half of the record that are great moments in terms of evolution and identity and new wrinkles that the band is trying to include to evolve their sound. Let Thy Snares Be Planted as an instrumental has the great sort of transition moment into The Bargain, which is the fifth track here, and for my money, the strongest song on the record. Pinion's vocals are, on this song, they show the greatest amount of range, not only in terms of her technical performance, but I also think the passion in her delivery on this song matches that kind of standard. In addition, the rest of the band, their writing, I think, also shows greater sort of efficiency and understanding of songwriting structure. They operate incredibly well as both death metal and doom band on this track. Every sort of aspect of the band is functioning at an elite level. On all cylinders, this song is the greatest success for this record. So where things really get interesting is on Blood Red Eyes. For all purposes, it's a piano ballad. And that may seem like a little bit out of character for this band, but it comes in and it is a welcome surprise for me personally as a listener. I think it points to the future for what this band may start to include more and more in their sound, and that's interesting, and I think a positive inclusion for them as a band. Having an epic doom sound with this sort of death metal element, I think it shows an incredible range in an emotional character and personality that they can explore as a band going forward. These moments of quiet, melancholic, introspective, kind of piano ballad to this lumbering, war machine, earth-shaking death metal doom band, I love the idea of them being able to operate with that kind of range and reach sonically. So for me, Blood Red Eyes was a major success. It's an interesting placement on the record, coming in at, I think, track number 7 here towards the back end. So for, I think, a lot of people who were listening to it throughout and kind of arrived later in the record to find this ballad, it's an interesting placement, but nonetheless, I hope they hold on to this this quality, this character, and reintroduce it in future records, because I think it's going to be really interesting what they can do, given Pinion's ability to navigate a song like this and the band's willingness to explore a different side of what epic doom can be. It's a great track and a real standout moment on Funeral for a King. So the last track, Straight to Messina, is one I would like to highlight as well. it closes out the record, and while not as potentially divergent or unexpected as Blood Red Eyes, it highlights beyond epic doom a little bit more of an epic heavy metal side of this band. While a bit more subtle in its implementation and by contrast to their well-established sound, it is noticeable how this song sort of takes flight through its guitar solos. It's a great way to end Funeral for a King and finishes off this record by taking Stygian Crown, sailing towards western skies. It's a beautiful, epic, heavy metal addition to this band, and I think also proves to be a new wrinkle to their sound, hopefully one that they expand on in future records to come. The last thing I want to talk about for this record has to do with the production quality. While the self-titled debut, I think, had a little bit more aggression to it, it sounded like the band had really wanted to highlight the fact that they have sort of this death metal aspect to the rhythm section. Melissa's vocals were just a little bit more recessed into the mix, and I think this time around for Funeral for a King, we see her sort of a little bit more elevated outside of the rhythm section. I think that suits the band specifically because they're going a little bit more for a slightly matured, epic doom listen first. That's where the band really wants to go. That's what they're all about. And I think while the weight, size, and force of the debut full length, that production quality was ultimately intriguing, at least in terms of promising a little bit more of an aggressive production style given the band's sort of weight and rhythm section. It serves a little bit as a detraction in terms of being able to move into a sound that was a bit more well established within epic doom or epic heavy metal. So I guess what I'm really trying to drive at here is, along with the improvements in the songwriting and the diversity that this record offers, I do also believe that the production has improved in terms of steering this band towards the direction that they ultimately want to go in. Potentially, I guess my closing thoughts here are the best doom metal record of 2024. I know we're only here in February, and it's very early in the year to make kind of proclamations about best of year, but this is a band that is doing something a little bit different within the genre, and for Epic Doom to have not only a young promising band, but one that's also sort of coming into their own in terms of songwriting, offering sort of a future glimpse of things to come. Funeral for a King is a major success, one of my favorite records to come out so far in a very early 2024. If you're a fan of Epic Doom or Epic Heavy Metal, you should definitely check this out. The debut full length is also worth your time if you're interested, but Stygian Crown, Funeral for a King, great record. And On Cruz del Sur, I think it just recently released here, so you should be able to pick it up either on Bandcamp or through the label itself. But Stygian Crown, well done, great record. That's all I got for you. Until then, I'll see you guys later. You can always catch me Wednesday night here on Heavy Metallurgy or on my own channel, Killing for Company. I'll see you guys later. Bye.